Hi. Hello, Cape Pulpit. Thank you for
Fantastic.
having us this morning.
Also, you might give a little wave there to the camera. Facebook will be on that side.
Hi,
Yes,
Facebook.
we're doing it. We're doing it. So those who just tuned in, Womandla Foundation. I mean, it's great that we're talking about this because it's Women's Month, in August.
Yes.
So this is fantastic that we're talking about this today. So Womandla Foundation is a non-profit company which seeks to bridge the gender gap by upskilling and equipping African women and girls so they can further their own economic development and make bigger contributions to society. Womandla collaborates with other organizations to promote social innovation, public education, community enrichment, and transformation. Our mission as a non-profit company is to form partnerships with leading organizations and institutions and establish a Womandla bursary, a Womandla Scholarship of the Arts, and Womandla Leadership Program for young leaders. We aim to foster, facilitate, educate, empower, and equip women and girls and the larger community with vision and purpose. It's a mouthful, but that is the crux of it. You want to empower, equip women, eh? Yeah.
Exactly.
Where did it
Exactly.
start?
So, Womandla Foundation was started by our founder, Sam Gomo, and she is a PR and communication specialist
Fantastic.
vocationally.
Mm.
And it started about 10 years ago where, she was, writing.
Yes.
And she would write to celebrate, highlight women who are doing great things.
Mm.
And it started there. And in 2018, then it got registered, as
Fantastic.
an NPO.
Yes.
And then we, do everything that you have just mentioned.
Yes. And for someone that just tuned in now, if they were to ask what is Womandla Foundation doing, I know I glossed over it a bit, but can you take us maybe into that a bit?
So Womandla Foundation, exists to empower, to upskill, to train African women and girls.
Yeah, yeah.
We have three pillars. The
Okay.
first pillar is, our STEAM. Then we have entrepreneurship and development, and we have, mentorship. And we have different activities underneath each of those pillars and underneath each of those banners. So one of the exciting things that we are, doing towards the end of the month and kind of bringing Women's Month to a
yes.
close
Yes.
is our STEAM Awards. And that's a space where we celebrate and highlight, women who are doing amazing things within
So
the
important.
space of STEAM. And it is important because, for those women who are, doing those things and taking up that space,
Yes.
it is great to have that encouragement, to have that platform where we celebrate them.
Yeah.
But it's also good to, put a spotlight on them for other young women and girls, who are wanting to do these things but are feeling unequipped or are feeling not so confident, right? So feeling
Right.
self-conscious. So just having someone that can inspire you and say, there is somebody out there who's doing it. And especially when you think about, how STEAM, just science and technology, being in, engineering, arts
Yes.
and maths, how that's normally, male-dominated platforms,
Always.
and that's been the narrative for so long.
Yes,
So it's
yes,
good
yes.
to show, young women and girls that, there are women out there who are doing it and doing it excellently and changing that narrative. So a lot of what Womandla exists to do is, to bridge that gap by, equipping and showing young women and girls that they can actually take up their space and participating in their own economic development, but also in the development of their societies.
I love that. And what are some of the actual programs that you're doing? Maybe you want to touch on one or two?
So we have our mentorship program,
Okay.
which is very exciting.
Which you
I'm
involved.
a part of.
Love
I'm a
that,
mentor in
yeah.
that mentorship program, and we have three branches.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so Womandla is
Fantastic.
quite big.
Fantastic, yeah.
So we have our Cape Town branch, we have our Joburg branch, and this year we started our KZN branch. So it's a
Woohoo.
growing foundation.
Come on, Womandla.
definitely.
Yes.
So I'm part of the Cape Town mentorship program, and we partner with high school Gwalanga, where we mentor 30 grade 11 and 10 students. And what we do, throughout that mentorship program is we host workshops. So
Okay.
equipping them with leadership and development skills, communication workshops, future planning workshops, which include our vision boarding and our career planning, also focusing, on mental health. right? So self-concept, how do I see myself, and also just mental health skills, right? And then, each of those mentors have,
Yes.
a small group of mentees, because,
Yes, yes.
having that mentorship is about relationship,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
ultimately.
creating that connection, right? And
Yes.
having your small group of students that you journey through, and provide that psychosocial support
Oh
to.
my goodness, I wasn't going to get that. Rather you. That's fantastic. And wow, it must be quite rewarding for you. How does it make you feel, as a mentor?
It's so amazing.
Is it?
It really is amazing. We had our recap workshop last
Yeah.
weekend, and just hearing, how the students who came in at the beginning of the year, maybe some of them weren't so scared to even come up and, speak, scared of even doing orals.
Yes,
And
yes,
now
yes,
they
yes.
are, kind of
Just all bold,
impromptu leading,
Wow.
standing up in front of guests, right?
Wow.
We saw this at the youth camp, being able to stand up, in front of people that you don't know, asking a question, giving a vote of thanks, growing in those leadership capabilities. So it's very rewarding.
You see that.
Yes,
Sure.
because
amazing.
also mentorship is something that's close to my heart, as
Yes,
well.
yes, yes.
So it's so amazing, number one, to be in a space where you are surrounded by people who are like-minded.
Yes, yes, yes.
And also, just being able to see that progression, of how they develop and how they grow. So
Yes, yes,
it's completely rewarding.
Wow, wow, wow. What has been some of the, because I'm sure, and before we get to the highlights, there's been some challenges as well, with some of the programs and
Yeah.
youngsters.
I mean, if I ask you, Andre, what's the common challenge with a lot of, NPOs?
Yeah.
What would you say?
It will just pop up, and I mean, it's like, we need to pay for the lights,
Exactly. It's always about the money. So funding is always, a challenge.
Yes.
But we're very grateful, for our partners who really, when they contribute, just make the most amazing, impact. So, from Tactile Technologies, which has been a major support in assisting us, with a lot of our activities and projects this year, Ikigai and other, Lean In and other people who are, rallying behind the STEAM Awards, especially. So, and also, having local churches and communities and, people who in the personal capacity donate. So I think that creates that bridges the gap, in itself, right? Because having a desire to do something and then it materializing is what happens in between. So it's great having those partners who help us, with the in between. Another major challenge, is we have these amazing mentors who participate or volunteer. It's personally. So it's from a volunteer basis, which means that, they have other commitments, whether it be family or work, or just taking care of themselves. So going back to how that sometimes the desire that we have is difficult to actually materialize and act upon, because of time constraints and life happening on life's terms.
Their own financial constraints.
Exactly. So sometimes, the sustainability in terms of mentorship can be difficult, but then again, when things do come together, it really does become completely magical.
And you get those individuals that actually push through, eh?
Exactly.
And somehow they just keep on managing to cope with everything.
Exactly. And that's also been one of the blessings of being part of the foundation. Is just being around and being a part of people who are just so inspiring and so resilient and so passionate about youth, about women empowerment, about just STEAM, about community, about economic development. So it's really amazing being a part of people like that.
So that's definitely some of the highlights that you've experienced. And I mean, just touching on that, I mean, it really takes resilience, eh?
It does.
Tenacity.
It does.
Relentlessness almost.
And it definitely speaks to the character of our founder Sam, who really is there's no. There's no is not in my vocabulary.
Everything is possible.
That everything is possible. And I think if there's one message that we could give to anybody, women and boys alike,
ladies listening now, yes.
anything
Please.
is possible.
I love
Anything
that.
is possible, honestly.
There's always a way.
Exactly. And if I speak about, some of our other highlights, from throughout the year is, just this year, right? We've been able to launch our KZN branch of the foundation.
Sure.
Also started our podcast.
Great. Hey!
Yes,
Yeah, we're doing podcasting
anything
now
is
too.
possible. Yes,
Love
learn, support, grow on Apple and on
Wow.
Spotify podcast. Yeah. So, and I think it's, just driving to work, being able to listen to
Yes.
somebody who is on the ground,
Yeah.
somebody that you can bump into anywhere,
Anywhere.
and hear their story and saying, this is a normal person,
Yeah.
but they've achieved so
So
much, and just internalizing that and saying, actually, I can also do the same,
possible for me too.
Exactly. So that's what the podcast really captures. It's people who have achieved things, but people who are not so far from us that,
Yeah.
we can relate to their stories,
Yeah.
but in the end can actually inspire us as well. Right?
Love
So
that.
those are just highlights from this year,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And obviously, it's with the STEAM Awards coming up at the end on the 24th of August.
24th of August, we must remember that. So
Yes.
we're noting that.
Yes,
Yes.
that's going to be another big highlight, right?
Okay, fantastic.
What makes that big is that also this year is the 5th STEAM Awards, right?
Oh.
Yes, and we
Wow.
know that if you speak biblical numbers,
Come-
5 is the number of
Yay.
grace,
Yay,
right?
come
So
on,
grace
come
upon
on.
grace
Grace
upon
upon
grace
grace.
for Womandla
Reminding
Foundation.
me of our presenter Musa now. Grace upon grace.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah. And also if you think about, the miracle that Jesus performed,
Yes.
turning 5 loaves.
on,
Yes.
come on.
So
Fish.
it's a big one. Yeah. So that's going to be a big highlight. Also celebrating amazing women around the country doing big things. So that's going to be hosted in Joburg.
Yeah.
So tickets are available, on the website for anybody who is interested in attending. For everybody actually, because
everybody,
it's not going to be one that you want to miss.
I'm so glad we're doing this. This is like, wow. I mean, guys, you guys are amazing, eh? Gents, we're doing it. But come on, it's time for the women. It's Women's Month now, and we're having ladies on like this that just want to just go out there and make sure that our women is also put on the map.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, yeah.
And we're also bridging we're bridging the gender gap, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
with that, it's
yes.
also important not to leave boys behind.
Come on.
So an important thing with our mentorship program,
Gender equality is important.
yes, is that we do
yes.
include boys as
Yeah,
well.
there we go.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you've invited the guys as well. Eh?
yes,
You can also-
yeah, yeah. So it's yeah.
I love that. Wow. There's so much to pour into women. I'm sure you know that, and that's what you guys have been doing all the time. And oh yeah, let me just remind the listeners. So you that just tuned in, we are speaking to Asisipho. She's a mentor at Womandla Foundation, doing amazing work with the organization. There's so much happening because it's August month, it's Women's Month, and they just want to continue doing what they're doing and making sure that they probably heard about the podcasts now and. Asisipho will share all those details at the end with regards to how you can contact them and that sort of thing. So there's so much. If you want to get involved, please get in touch with Asisipho and the foundation. Asisipho, maybe just a last message for a woman that is struggling and that knows they're looking at you now and they're listening to you and they're like, I'm sure Asisipho also has a story, What would you tell a young Asisipho today?
What I would tell a young Asisipho today is there's no Asisipho like you.
I love it.
So, it's a lot of the time when we look to social media, we look for inspiration and we do get inspired.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there can be that still small voice, that says, okay, but, this person is doing it. What makes me different?
Yeah.
And it's the fact that you are different that makes you different.
That's your superpower.
Exactly.
I love that.
Is that you could all be doing the same thing, but because you are doing it, it makes it different.
Yes.
So
yes.
don't, just focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that the true power is in knowing who I am and knowing what makes me different to somebody else, right?
Yes.
And not looking to find affirmation and value in the next person.
Outside of yourself.
Exactly.
I love that. Yeah,
So
you're
owning
such a
yourself.
go-getter, you, eh? That's fantastic. But that's what it's all about. August month is about that. Women's month is about that. We want to inspire. We want to uplift. We want to make sure that our woman is equipped with self-concept, identity. You guys are really hard on that, with the youngsters. And I mean, that's. I mean, the success stories must have been amazing when you see that child that is afraid of oral and public speaking,
Exactly.
and they step up and they're like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I will go against what you say
Exactly.
because I have a voice.
We had our youth camp
Yeah.
in Youth Month,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Oh, awesome.
And an amazing that achievement that came out of that, which we can't, take the glory for,
Yeah.
is that 8 people gave their lives to Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of highlights.
Exactly, because I mean,
Yes.
what else are we working for if not for eternal glory?
Come on.
So yeah,
Sure.
so we're not just working on identity and economic development, but we're
Yes.
also working on spiritual growth
Yes,
and
yes.
cementing that as the foundation of upon
Yes.
which everything else is built on.
Yes, yes. I love that. Glory to God.
Amen.
We've glossed on it, but how can people sort of collaborate with you, connect with you? Is there contact details? Let's end
Yes.
up with that.
Yes. So we love partnership.
fantastic.
Womandla is big and built on partnership. So anybody who would like to partner, whether it is through sponsorship, sponsoring any of our activities or sponsoring any of our mentees,
Yeah.
whether it is through donating any resources, right? Whether it be gold products or anything else. Then you can email us at hello@womandla.com. We also are on Instagram, and
Awesome.
yes, we are on Instagram.
Love it.
And you can also follow and share the podcast, right? And yeah, so those are the main ways that you can partner, and also by any way of getting involved, right? Whether it's identifying, sometimes you see a foundation, right,
Yeah,
and see a cause that you are wanting to partner with but not knowing how, right? So just reaching out and saying that you showing interest and you want to get involved. Also, whether it is through mentorship capacity, welcome that as well. Yeah, so reaching out through our Instagram, through our email, through our website as well, which is www.womandla.com, and also getting your tickets for the 24th,
For the
of
24th
August.
of August, it's happening in Joburg. Eh?
Yes, Joe Big, or
Joe
go
Big,
home.
Joe Big, Joe Big. I said a Joe Big.
Because it's gonna be big. It's gonna be very
right?
big.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, so right, come to Joe Big. It's gonna be big. Well, Asisipho, you've been amazing. You've been a star. You've been absolutely awesome, man. May Womandla just go from strength to strength and keep
Amen.
on equipping those women like
Thank
you.
you.
Just let them become another Asisipho in their own unique way.
Exactly.
That's your testimony, né?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Like Simone Biles said. She says, "I am not the
Hey.
next Usain Bolt. I am not the next
Hey.
Michael Phelps. I am the first Simone Biles."
Ons gaan daarmee afsluit. Piet Smit sing vir ons in liefde se naam. That's been amazing. Wow, thank you. Have an awesome weekend further.
Thank you.
Fantastic.